It's time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Chad Erickson. Good to have you all with us on this Wednesday edition of the show. Lots to do over the next 60 minutes. A couple of friends will drop by. Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com in his weekly spot with us. Bram Weinstein, the play-by-play voice of the Washington Commanders, the NFL divisional playoff round bound Washington Commanders, will hang out with us coming up in about 10 minutes as well. And it's Wednesday, and that can only mean one thing. Vladimir Lewison is hanging out with us as well on the show on this Wednesday, which we begin with NFL coaching buzz. The latest surrounding Mike Tomlin, Deion Sanders, and Mike McCarthy. And, Vlad, look, I mean, the Mike Tomlin situation, there were some people that were thinking, hey, maybe a team would want to trade for him in light of the fact that he hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years. It appears Mike Tomlin saying, don't bother, I'm not going anywhere, which means he must have assurances from the Rooneys he's not going anywhere. And I would imagine to some fans of this Pittsburgh Steelers team, that is slightly disappointing.
Paige, how long have you lived in this earth?
47 years.
And I will be joining you next week. How many coaches have been in the Pittsburgh Steelers history in your 47 years of life? 3. Right. Have they ever been fired?
Nope.
The Rooney family will not fire Mike Tomlin. If there's going to be a breakup, it's going to be on Mike Tomlin. And this is not bad. This is just the fact that the Rooney family, the Pittsburgh Steelers, have always run a great organization. They don't fire people. They like people being there for a very long time. And it's on Mike Tomlin to make the decision. Does he stay? He wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, which he made by telling everybody, don't bother. But it's going to get to a point now. You can't go another year without winning in the playoffs.
What? Wait, because 6 and 5 and 7 years was somehow the line in the sand? I talked about this same topic with Jason Cole on Monday, our friend, and he said a lot of the same of what you said. But to me, my thing when we talk about coaching changes is, you can't make I always say to people when they say, fire the coach, I say, well, who are you getting that's better, right? Who are you going to get that's better? We'll always have that conversation. This might be the one of those rare instances where I don't even think it matters if you get somebody better. It's just time for a different voice. It's just time for a different mindset, a difference in approach, a difference in attitude. And I'm not saying Mike Tomlin's approach is wrong. I'm just saying for 8 years, it hasn't yielded a playoff win, which means sometimes just for that reason alone, it's time to make a change.
It is, but, and also what you were saying, you don't want to have a New England Patriots situation.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We never thought that Belichick was good and Kraft was going to go, but once Belichick wanted Brady out of New England, it was all right for Kraft to say, you know what? Maybe our time has passed. It's time to break up, move on to a new direction. But you don't want to hire somebody and then fire him to hire another person. You don't want that situation. That's the thing. When you've had so many years of consistency and success, when it starts to wane a little bit, now you, like you said, you got to find who's going to be that new voice, who's going to be that new leader to continue, our trajectory of success. It is very hard in this NFL to find a capable coach and give him the years. You have to have immediate success.
We were just talking about the Jets. We were just talking about the Jets off the air. You think the Jets wouldn't kill for 8 years of playoffs? Even if they lost every time they made it, you think Jets fans wouldn't kill just to at least be a playoff team?
I like to make the playoff just 1 year. I like to make the playoff just 1 year. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But yeah.
Hey, hire Arthur Smith. That's the answer.
And now that's where the question is.
Yep.
You've had here's the real problem. You kept Big Ben too long. That was it. Big Ben.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Let me move to Mike McCarthy because he is talking with the Bears, who, by the way, spoke with David Shaw. And I want to give kudos to the Bears for speaking with David Shaw because I have been not mocking David Shaw the last few days in the conversation as it relates to Marcus Freeman, because I said, look, if you're Marcus Freeman and you get an offer from the NFL coming out of this season, and you say no, you risk becoming David Shaw, who was a hot candidate years ago at Stanford. Then Stanford cooled off. The program kind of died. And David Shaw all of a sudden wasn't a big coaching candidate. Now, lo and behold, he actually got an interview with the Bears. He's not going to get the job. It's clearly a Rooney Rule interview on some level. It is. And let's just be honest about it. And this is the way of the league. They make guys go through this process when they probably have no chance of getting a job. Because it sounds like McCarthy could be the guy that they ultimately wind up going after when all is said and done. And we'll see how all of that transpires. I want to just get a couple minutes with you on Deion, because we've talked a lot on this show. We've talked a lot on this show about Deion Sanders and the idea of, him potentially reuniting with Jerry Jones. I think it's a recipe for disaster. I think both guys crave relevancy and crave the spotlight. I don't think it will work for a number of reasons, most of which Deion could go and flash his bling and do the Deion thing and, talk about his Super Bowl rings or talk about his Hall of Fame credentials. All of that stuff is great when you're talking about college kids, impressionable still, even with NIL money. That ain't going to work on the NFL level, Vlad.
It will.
Nah.
Yeah, because you're forgetting what you said is correct. The gravity of Deion. Prime can get these guys to play. That's what he's done. I think people always I think what Deion does great is that he is a persona. Prime is a persona. But if you take that persona away, the man is actually a great leader of men. And that's what NFL coaches have to be. They have to be great leaders of men. And I think they will listen to his voice. Now, the only problem is I just don't like the team that he would be the coach for. You know what I'm saying? It's because it's the Dallas Cowboys. And yes, you said if things go wrong, it's a big circus.
I don't think he's a good X's and O's coach at all. Having watched him at Colorado.
Is Mike Tomlin a good X's and O's coach?
That's questionable. It's questionable, but Mike Tomlin's won Super Bowls. But Mike Tomlin's also won Super Bowls. Hang tight. We'll come back. Bram Weinstein's going to join us from the Washington Commanders, their play-by-play voice. Sports Wrap continues on a Wednesday. Sports Wrap continues on this Wednesday. Spend some more time on the NFL. Talked about him in the last segment, hanging out with us on the show today. Bram Weinstein does a fantastic job on Washington Commanders play-by-play, also sports radio in Washington, D.C. Look at him. He looks so cool, calm, and relaxed. Look at that guy. That's the guy who's a play-by-play voice of a playoff team that he probably didn't think was going to be a playoff team when the season started, Bram.
That's not true, actually.
Come on.
No, that's not true. I'll paint the picture for you.
Okay.
So they bring in a new coach. They flip over this roster. They bring in a lot of veterans. No one's paying any attention to them, but really good ones. Bobby Wagner, like first ballot Hall of Fame players. Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong, Frankie Louvu. So I knew the team was better. Then they drafted Jaden Daniels. And if Jaden Daniels was going to look the part, and I didn't expect this is we can talk about his season, but I didn't expect this. If he looked the part and Dallas taking just a step back with their roster changes, there's a path to second place in the NFC East, and that was the wild card. So I wouldn't have said 12, but 9 or 10 felt very reasonable to me going into the season.
You talk about Daniels. It's one thing to watch him on TV and see what we see. You probably see more than most traveling with the team. What is it about him, whether it's leadership intangibles, as a rookie that you've seen that's wowed you?
He's never looked like a rookie, not for a day. His work ethic is second to none. He's first in the building. People say that stuff. It's true. He is a lifer at this. He wants to be good at this. He clearly has a very high athletic ceiling, so that helps him. But his work ethic is remarkable. And it was in the spring at OTAs and then in training camp where he looked nothing like a rookie. And then you started to see the athletic gifts. And I'd say the first time on the field that it was pretty obvious we had a special player was week 3, Monday night, Cincinnati. He makes a throw late in the game on a zero blitz free rusher where he just lobs it up, and Terry McLaurin makes one of what ended up being like 15 unreal catches this year. And it was the first, like, on this stage, in this moment, he's going to step up and do things like this. And as it turned out, and we just haven't had a quarterback like this in my lifetime, we have a very, very special player here. He is rewriting what a rookie season can be for a quarterback. He's 200 yards away, and he'll probably get it in one way or another on Saturday for breaking the record for the most yards by any rookie quarterback in any season ever. He already has the most rush yards for any rookie quarterback any season ever. He has the highest qualified completion percentage ever. They have 6 fourth-quarter comebacks. He's thrown a touchdown pass in the final 30 seconds or overtime of 5 games this year. It's insane what he is doing. He's got poise, calm. He's humble. He shrugs when you ask him about this stuff. Like there's zero ego attached, at least publicly, from him. His teammates love him. And we feel like this is the beginning. That we have a special player here. It's the beginning.
For people who didn't see it on Sunday night, NBC did a great job after the game, showing the reaction from you and London Fletcher in the broadcast booth. This never gets old to watch. Watch this.
Is looking to send Washington into the divisional round. Snap good, hold down, kick on its way. It is good! The Cardiac Commanders are the Clutch Commanders. They do it again. We'll see you in Detroit.
And Zay Gonzalez kicks in the door and kicks us into the second round of the playoffs.
Oh man, it never gets old, man. It's got to give you chills. I've done play-by-play when I was a little younger, and it's my favorite thing in the world to do. I miss it dearly. So when I see people having fun doing it, I'm always happy. It is like no other job on the planet. There are very few of them. You know, when you talk about major league jobs, there's very few of them. It's a tight-knit fraternity. So I have an appreciation for it. Talk about what's going through your mind at that moment.
So I grew up here. So this is my team, right? Yeah. And it's been a long road, you know. And I think we've had a lot of fun. Like I mentioned, all the end of game scenarios. Like we're having, this is a magical season. Every game comes down to the wire. Each of the last 5 games have come down to the final play from scrimmage. They've won them all. We have a Hail Mary that had never happened in the franchise's history. And then add in, at the beginning of the season, there was, because they've been dysfunctional, they haven't won very much. They are tied for the longest drought of a championship appearance of any NFL team. There was a level of disbelief, I think, early that what we were seeing was real. And then as it kind of went along, it became a joyride. And then it became, this is the most clutch team I've ever seen put on this uniform in my adult lifetime.
Wow.
And so there's a level of just joy that is really hard to describe. I think when you do this job, you're channeling your fan base, and our fan base is joyous right now. We have not celebrated like this. It's an emotional release. And, you know, like next year, like when the expectations are really, really different, I think the energy of the call is going to match that it's going to be different. But for this year, I don't know any other way to react than that way. And it's not performative. I'm just being myself.
It absolutely comes across that way, too. I'm so glad you say it is. I could tell it's not performative. I've got 45 seconds here. They are the biggest underdog on the card this weekend, getting 9.5 in Detroit. Give me the argument for why that number may be off.
I would say this, like, we're the underdog for sure. Like,
Sure.
we fully respect, what they've done. They're a wild, they're a dynamo this year. And we know that it's a tall task and it's on the road. It's a short week too. We got home at 3 a.m. on Monday, turn around and play a Saturday night game against a team that's off a bye. I mean, it's a very tough ask. But I would say this, like, this team is a top 5 rush offense. They held the ball for 35 minutes against Tampa Bay the other night. If they get into a situation where they can control the clock, keep Detroit's offense off the field a little bit, let me tell you something. That place is going to get real tight in the fourth quarter if that's a one-score game, because all this team has done is come through over and over and over. The last thing Detroit wants to be in is in some 3 or 7 point game with 5 minutes to go.
Bram Weinstein, I really appreciate it. Does a great job. Commanders play-by-play, ESPN 630 in D.C., as well with the Bram Weinstein Show. Thank you. Have fun this weekend. Enjoy it. We'll talk soon.
Bye, Jason.
We proceed on this Wednesday edition of Sports Wrap. Thanks again to Bram Weinstein for stopping by, play-by-play voice of the Washington Commanders. I don't blame him for being excited. Lots of reason to be excited right now in the nation's capital. Not about politics, but about sports when it comes to the Commanders. Let's say hello to our friend Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com, who hangs out with us. You've got something witty you want to say. I can just see it. I can see it.
I was just thinking, I'm like, not in basketball either. Like, just like only the Wizards and all.
Well, the Capitals are really good, though. Alex Ovechkin's back. I mean,
hockey and football. There you go. Good winter sports. Yeah.
So if it's a Wednesday on Sports Wrap, it means Kurt Helin, as well Vlad Lewis is hanging out with us on the show now on Wednesdays. We're approaching the mid-season. We're approaching midway through the season. There's a lot of storylines to talk about. I want to talk about your mid-season awards, which I know you got up at Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com, which we'll get to here in a few minutes. But I got to start with the Jimmy Butler stuff because the suspension's going to be ending in a couple of days. Where are these two sides? I know he reiterated to the front office and Pat Riley that he still wants out. Are we still in an impasse here?
Absolutely. Look, nothing. It's funny. The PR mode has changed the last couple of days as, how should I put this? Jimmy Butler's team, his agent, his people, Jimmy reached out to, we'll go with influencers. I don't know what word you're looking for, but reached out to some people where he could kind of make sure his side got out. And it's been, hey, I don't think they're trying hard enough to trade me. Hey, I want to be traded still, and I'm not re-signing in Miami. I'm going to use my $52.4 million for next year to leverage myself somewhere else as an opt-out or whatever. All that's good with Miami. I just don't think anything's changed on the ground. That they still don't like the trade offers. There are, Jimmy Butler's side is like, hey, offers are in, and they're like, well, yeah, crap ones. So I don't know where that stands, and everything comes to a head Friday. That is the Thursday the suspension ends. The Heat play tonight against the Lakers in Los Angeles. Fly home Thursday, and that's when the suspension is over. So Friday he could be at team shoot around, and that's where it gets interesting. He is not going to be traded by then. So Vlad, do you let him into practice and let him come around and play, or are you going to painfully pay him to stay away?
Kurt, I've been trying to figure this out these past couple of days down here because we all know that there was a meeting with him and Riley. There's supposed to be a meeting with him and the owner, Mickey Harrison. He does not want to play for the Miami Heat any longer. And the Heat want to get rid of him, but they're not going to get the proper assets or the proper trade value back. So now they're stuck. And here's the other thing, gentlemen. The team, the players that are still on the team, I think they moved on past Jimmy. Yeah. After the win, they lost to the Clippers, but they won 3 in a row. After their win early this week, they said, these are the guys that are here. We're playing for the guys that are here. This team is we're getting closer. And when you're hearing these words from Tyler Hero, Hayward Ty Smith, the guys that are on the team, you're starting to think maybe these guys are sick of this whole Jimmy drama, and they like to move on, and they would like for him to just leave and be somewhere else to be miserable.
Kurt, do they just send him home?
Mickey Arison hates the idea of paying somebody not to play, but in this case, we've seen Jimmy Butler, right? We've seen this before in Minnesota. We have seen this movie before. If you let him in that locker room, I would say he would, like the last couple of games before the suspension, he was quiet quitting on the team. It ain't going to be quiet. You have to have the risk. He is not going to come back and be an upstanding citizen, or you can't believe that's going to happen based on history. And if you don't think he says he's ready to play. He says he's ready to come back. But if you believe, I don't think as the Heat, you can take that risk, especially with what Vlad was just talking about. The Heat players have actually they've won some games. They've seen some chemistry. They are going to go at least 500 on this road trip, which is solid for a team like them right now.
I have another question I want to ask you, separate from the Jimmy Butler stuff here in this segment. We'll get to that in just a moment. Got to talk about our friends over at Credit Associates. How about Jamal Murray last night? Woo! He was blocking everything that the Dallas Mavericks wanted to do in terms of trying to win a game on Tuesday night. That game on TNT, of course, big national audience. Well, are you $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Is your debt blocking you from doing things in life? In over your head trying to make monthly payments? There's a powerful debt relief program the credit card companies don't want you to know about. It's through our friends at Credit Associates. Overcome the debt trap of multiple credit cards, high payments, high interest rates that keep you in debt for decades with one affordable low monthly payment. Credit Associates Debt Relief Program can help you resolve your debt in as little as 24 to 36 months, saving you thousands of dollars and decades in debt. Trust me, you don't want that 5-digit debt. Go and get rid of it now. Cut it in half with our friends at Credit Associates. Find out how much you can save. Call 1-800-747-5362. That's 1-800-747-5362. Credit Associates, or just click the QR link, the QR code there below. Do the Knicks have an ego problem? I've heard people talking about this, this idea that maybe there's some friction in this locker room. Josh Hart made reference to it the other night. My obligatory Knicks question in the segment, Kurt, do the Knicks have a locker room chemistry problem?
I don't think a serious one, but first off, they're up and down because they don't play defense. And teams that don't play defense are always up and down, right? Orlando can't play offense, but they're in every game, right? It's the reverse of that. But when you're in a losing streak like this, and Hart made multiple comments about everybody being on the same page, about being professional, about sacrificing. There is something going on, and there is definitely something going on in the locker room, whether it's an ego issue or something else. Something's eating at these guys because Josh Hart's been around too long, been too polished to say something like that publicly without there being something in that locker room that's eating at them.
Yeah, we only have about 30 seconds, Vlad. Go ahead.
No, that's weird because you would think with the acquisitions that they made and the way they were playing that there would be no problem. If there was going to be a problem, it would have been when Julius Randle was there. I wouldn't, now that Cat's there, I didn't think there would be any type of ego problems. But now with these recent losses, especially against good teams, that's the problem. They're not beating good teams.
No.
And that's where all the criticism's coming from.
Lost to Detroit the other night. Boy, Detroit, even without Ivy, that team is hanging around.
That's a better team.
Detroit is a good team right now.
I agree.
Cade Cunningham better be an all-star. Coaches, Cade Cunningham better be an all-star.
We're coming back more with Kurt on the other side. Another segment with Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com, only because we glued him to the chair. We don't let him get up. Yeah, exactly. Hop. Before I get to the midseason awards, I got to ask you about the Warriors. Because I talked about this yesterday on the show when I was sitting here by my lonesome talking to myself. I was kind of taken aback in some ways by what I heard from Stephen Curry. And now it's, there's other guys within the organization saying it, other prominent guys in the organization saying what he said, which was, hey, don't make, a move out of desperation here. Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy, don't go and do anything crazy here before the trade deadline. And my take on it was this. It's easy to say that if you're Stephen Curry. You've got your titles, you've got your MVPs, you've got your place in history, you've got your awards, you've got the all-time three-point shooting thing. I thought it was bordering on selfish, bizarre to hear somebody come out and say, I don't care if we go for it at all. I'm content being a bubble team, on making the plan. I was shocked, Kurt. And what does it mean for this organization going forward?
I was surprised, too, because, like you said, Green came out and said something a couple of days before along the same lines. Steve Kerr kind of echoed it in a separate interview, all three of them. And I think part of it is that, Jason, they're not one player away. There is not one move they can make that makes that team a contender. They are multiple moves away, and those guys realize it, and they're telling Joe Lacob, don't do something stupid. Let's be honest, don't trade for Jimmy Butler. Don't put in Jonathan Kuminga. Don't put in Kuminga and Wiggins and Gary Payton, and you're going to have to throw in a fourth player just to get Jimmy Butler. Now, he's not, by the way. I don't want to start a rumor. He's not available. But like, if Giannis Antetokounmpo was available or Luka Doncic, different conversation. But because guys with the future. But what they're saying is, don't make one big bold move right now because we're not one big bold move away.
I think Kurt's right. I think they were talking about that particular one bold move.
Yes.
Because that particular one bold move, though name power, it sounds great, but like you said, for the team as a collective, they would pretty much take out any depth that they had. They'll be very old. All their three best players would be 35
or over. Yeah.
So that's not good for them. That's not good for the organization. It's like, no, don't do that particular move. Now, if it was another move, like Kurt was saying, for maybe somebody younger who could maybe cover up a lot of the areas of weakness that they have, maybe. Like a Giannis, like you said. Because Giannis, he can defend. He's 7 foot. He's averaging triple doubles now. Like Giannis, that one player can cover up a lot of flaws that you have if you put him alongside Steph. But if you're talking about Jimmy Butler and the way his attitude is and what he's done in previous stops, it could be a combustible situation. So, yeah, I understand why they say don't make a move like that.
Yeah, if you're making a big move as the Warriors right now, that guy has to transition you into the post-Curry era. So Giannis at 30, you can kind of do it, but even younger than that, ideally.
Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com is where you can find Kurt Helin's work, including mid-season awards, Kurt. So, can we just name Victor Wembanyama Rookie of the Year for a second straight year, by the way?
No, we can't make Rookie of the Year.
No?
Why are we going to make
Why?
Rookie of the Year?
Why? Because he just turned 21.
I'm on board. Look, I ran that story today, Wednesday. You can find it. It literally starts with a gif of Elmo shrugging. Like, I don't know what to do with this award this year. I'm going with Jalen Wells, actually, right now. Like, out of the Memphis guy. Memphis and Wells and Zach Edey are your two best rookies right now. Alex Sarr has played like it for a couple weeks, and he would be third on my list. But honestly, it is wide open. There's just, dude, it kills. The injury in Philadelphia.
Oh, McCain.
McCain was.
I love
McCain. McCain would be number one, and it wouldn't be a discussion. With McCain only playing 23 games this year, he's not going to get there. I mean, theoretically, I could put him on now at midseason. He's not going to be there at the end of the season. He's out for the season. So it's just wide open. I think Zach Edey ultimately could get there. He's been the best player, but he's only played like half the minutes of Wells. He's had some injury issues. They get him in more maybe, but like, it's just wide open. There isn't a good choice. There isn't a, we knew it was a down draft class, so this one's been rough. So it's been rough with Rookie of the Year.
Is Jokic gaining ground here on Shea for MVP?
I think they're a coin flip. I have Shea 1.
Wow. Look at Vlad's like, nope.
2.
Vlad's like, nope.
No. I have those two 1, 2, and then Tatum and Giannis 3, 4. But it's, to me, I have Shea and his defense and the way he's led that team in front of Jokic, but Jokic has put up just stupid numbers and has probably a heavier lift. He just doesn't have the guys around him right now that SGA does.
Real quick, Vlad.
No, SGA, I think what he's done over the last 3 weeks, especially in some big games on the road in New York, against New York at home, Boston. Like he's put in the effort right now where you can say he's the favorite. I don't want to take anything from Jokic because Jokic is putting up ridiculous numbers. Like he's top 3 in nearly every offensive category. So I don't want to take anything away from Jokic, but OKC's number 1. They have in the West, and they have, to me, the best player in the NBA right now. I mean, 12 for 15 last night for 32 points. He's 12 for 15.
32 points is pretty much, and the funny thing is you're like, yeah, that's pretty much an average night for him. He plays, it's just fun to watch him because his game isn't like anybody else's game. It's the angles he takes, the speed, the hesitations, but pickups, but mostly just the angles and style he plays. It's not like you look at him and go, oh, he's like Kobe, or he's like Iverson, or he's like this. Well, he's different.
Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. It's a little tease. Go check out his NBA midseason award winners. We'll see you next week, Kurt.
Looking forward to it, man.
Coming back. All right, we take it to segment 5 on the show, which means something to consider on SportsWrap. Something to consider, Vladimir Louisant.
Mm-hmm.
Major professional sports athletes, stars, continue to have their homes broken into across America. It is an epidemic. It is a plague. It is a scourge. And it keeps happening. And look, at this point, and I'm not trying to victim blame here. I'm not trying to victim shame here. I'm not trying to, make these people feel worse after they've had their privacy violated, had their security and safety violated. But I have said this before, and I will continue to reiterate it in lieu of what continues to happen here. You make millions of dollars, Evgeny Malkin. You make millions of dollars, Luka Doncic. You make millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars, Joe Burrow. You're telling me you can't afford private security? You're telling me you can't put one would-be looking security guard with a can of mace and you don't even have to have a gun.
God,
just the Vlad, just the deterrence alone would keep a would-be felon from trying to rob these places. If they just even see somebody up there, they're not going to do anything. I'm sorry. At this point, big star athlete, you know the score. But hold on. You know the score now. There is clearly a ring out there, a syndicate, that is making its way around America, figuring out where these guys live. I say guys because I don't think it's happened to any major female star athletes yet, so I don't think I'm out of line saying guys.
And I have a point on that too.
Okay, but here's the thing. You know it's happening. You make enough money to hire a security guard, and it's not like they have to be there 365 days a year because you're not gone 365 days a year. Protect the place. I mean, my God, isn't it worth that much for your wife, your girlfriend if you're Joe Burrow, and who knows who else, your kids? Isn't it worth it to not be a skinflint and actually spend the money to go and protect your worldly items and everything you want? It doesn't make sense to me, Vlad. I'm sorry.
One, if these jobs are happening, it's probably an inside job. Because if you're having, it's got to be an inside job. Because yes, these guys have security, but if I'm going to Paige, if you're going to work, if you're going to the studio, you're not expecting. You're hoping nobody's going to come burglarize your home.
Nobody wants anything. Nobody wants anything I have.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just going to be, Diet
baseball
Cokes
cards, Diet Cokes, and baseball cards,
Diet Coke, baseball cards. But
Diet Coke and Brent Rooker autographed cards. There you go.
Think about these athletes. I mean, and you could tell it's going across all the sports. I personally think it's got to be an inside job because, like you said, if they have securities or you should have security, it's got to be somebody who has access or is able to get access to you. Should they get security? Yeah, I think so now. I think it should be if you're seeing it happen all across sports, I think all these athletes, especially the top athletes, should start taking a little bit more precaution, not only with their homes. You said there are times you have people in your home. It might be, like I said, it might be an inside job. Who knows? But I do believe if something happens to a WNBA player, and Caitlin Clark just got
that was crazy.
Right, but if somebody does that to a female athlete, I think maybe the sport bodies will start taking a closer look, because right now I think a lot of it is like, well, they're athletes, they make so much money, they should be able to protect themselves, and it's not like that. It's not. Everybody has a life. You know what I'm saying? There are things that are happening in life that you're not able to get to. This is something that they got to take a look at. You're right. They make so much money. I think when you're making 9 figures, you better have security.
Hell, if you're making 7 figures, if you're making 7 figures,
you have a 9-figure contract. I get it. But now that it's going across the board, I think you're going to see more of an effort of athletes to take protect themselves.
A lot of experts on this have not said inside job, but what they have said is these are professionals. Like they've shown video of it where professional burglars, they master the art. Like it's almost like you see in movies where like an Ocean's 11 or an Ocean's 12, where they are professionals at it, and they will get in and get out. They get what they have to get, grab the TV off the wall. Like they're fast. It's not this fly by night, burglar that's running in there with a ski mask on,
And the reason why I think it is because they know your schedule. So like you said, like if you're going to say if it's like an Ocean's 11 or any of these heist movies that we watch on in the theaters, they know your movement. They know your schedule. They know when you leave. They know when you come back. They have your schedule. Oh, you're going on a 3-game trip. Oh, you're going to the West Coast. This is the perfect time. Yes, this is a plan. I agree with you. These are planned, but these might planned or inside job. But our athletes now get some private security.
Yeah, you know what's going on. You want to keep your home safe. A Ring doorbell ain't doing it anymore. The Nest Cam that's sitting in my kitchen that catches me walking around in my underwear every night. It ain't cutting it anymore. Sorry, folks. Odds and Ends wraps up the show in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right, just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Wednesday. Tomorrow, Noah Dalzell does a great job covering the Celtics. Talk with her about what's going on with that team. And who knows, maybe some other surprises. Gonna have to stick around and find out. Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast is available. Go and subscribe today. All your favorite podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon, you name it. We're on every platform. It's great. Go and check it out.
Odyssey.
Yeah, absolutely. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends, it was over early for Tiger Woods and Juniper Golf Links. Man, Kevin Kisner should never be allowed on a golf course ever again. My God. I mean, he was terrible all night. He was hitting balls in the water, hitting balls in bunkers, then sculling balls out of the bunkers. Vlad, I could have put you on a golf course and made it look better than it looked with Kevin Kisner last night. Hold on. Oh, he just shanked another one. Hold on. Wait, I just missed it. He just shanked another one. My God, poor Tiger Woods. Poor Tiger Woods. You can't find, and this is a legit question here. You couldn't find anybody better than Kevin Kisner to be on your team? Like, you're Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. You're putting together this golf indoor extravaganza that we're all supposed to run to the TV and watch on Tuesday night when there's nothing else on except the NBA on TNT. And this is what you give me? Back-to-back weeks of blowouts in this thing. I mean, I love Serena Williams, but I don't need to hear her for 2 holes with whatever the guy's name is, Matt Berry, talking about golf and what she does or doesn't know about golf. I mean, my God, that was hard. And by the way, you can't let Serena get off of an interview with you without asking her, hey, any chance you're going to come back and play another major or Grand Slam? You got to at least ask the question, Matt Berry.
Why?
Because by the way, she trimmed down. Serena trimmed down.
Serena's always going to look great.
No, but like she lost weight. And I'm not saying this in like a derogatory way of what I'm not saying, because you talk about a woman's weight, dodging the arrows. She looked really good last night. Like I could see.
How old is Serena?
She's in her 40s, I think.
Okay.
Hey Google, how old is Serena Williams? There.
43 years old.
There you go, 43 years old.
Yeah, and she hasn't been active in how many years?
A few.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah.
I'm always dreaming of it, though.
I know, but who told you? Who told you stop dreaming years ago?
I know.
Who?
I know. You're always the one. I get it. But back to Tiger, because I was
he's
pumped.
another one I need to stop dreaming as well.
I was pumped up. I was pumped up watching him. You know, I will always be a Tiger guy because I love greatness. You know, that's why I watch my show every day when it comes on here in Vegas at 3 o'clock. I love watching greatness. So every day I tune in my own show at 3 o'clock and I go, man, that guy is good. Oh, wait, that's me.
If narcissism had
if it had a face, it would be this one.
If it had a mascot.
Right here, baby. But I'm just trying to figure out, like, now you've had 2 weeks of blowout. Look, you can get away with it the first week. You could probably get away with it the second week because it's Tiger. You can't keep having blowouts in this thing where it's not competitive. Not only are guys getting blown out, they're out there laughing about it.
Well, I mean, I think it's supposed to be fun, Paige. Like I'm thinking about it. We're in the beginning of the golf season right now.
Yes,
these guys they're going to be going up. They're probably in Hawaii or going to Hawaii or, so they're going and they're going to hit the California. They're going to hit the West Coast pretty soon. So a lot of these things I'm trying to see is like, are these guys really taking it serious? Because they probably have a tournament to get ready for in the next 2 days or so.
Kevin Kistner shouldn't, because he shouldn't be allowed on any PGA Tour course in his entire life. Let's be honest about it. Charlie Woods would have been better last night than Kevin Kistner.
Okay. Seeing Charlie, I don't know. Maybe because, like you said, we love Tiger. I think Charlie might be the next big star in golf. Like, I think he's going to be a star in golf. I think it would have been fun if Tiger and Charlie was part of Tiger's team. If he was part of the Jupiter team and seeing him play with his, because that's what we love. You don't think people turn on the TV if Bronny's going to be playing, if Bronny's active, who's up, they want to see Bron and Bronny going to play? Who wouldn't want to see Tiger and Charlie play?
Well, they watch it every year when they do that father-son thing. People watch it.
Right.
People love it.
It's something like that to teach you out. I think that would be fun to see your son and, Tiger and Charlie just playing in that as well, having fun, because it's not a real golf course, guys. It's a simulator. So, I
still feel like I'm just watching a bunch of pro golfers do like range sessions at a top golf. And I'm sitting there asking, and again, last night I found myself asking the question, why am I watching this again?
Because it's Tiger Woods.
Why am I watching this? I don't understand. I need to I need to take up PS5 and start playing video games or something. I need a hobby if I'm watching this on a Tuesday night.
You gave it a chance. You didn't like it. You've given it 2 chances.
I gave it 2 chances. I was texting with our golf guy, Ryan Ballingy, all night. We were texting about it. I was actually having an ongoing conversation with something about it. We're done.
You know what I mean? You secretly like it. You're trying to hate it.
Maybe. I want to go and try it. I'm jealous because I don't get to do it myself. Thanks to Bram Weinstein. Thanks to Kurt Helin. Thanks to you, Vlad. We'll see you back here next week. I'm Jason Page. That's Sports Wrap. We'll see you next time.